That's a tow, brother. Golly. All right, guys, so Richard backed this beast down to the water. Now it's time to get out there and see how it performs. All right, guys, so we made it to the water. Had Richard back me down the ramp. He's got one of my favorite products already on here, which is ideal for a pedal drive kayak because I don't like the broken apart paddle in the back concept, because if you get in a situation where you need to move real fast or make a maneuver or push off, trying to get it from behind you and put it together is probably problematic. So I'm going to bring you my real-time impressions as it's going. I'm going to cast the rod, I'm going to reach for things, I'm going to see how it performs. Literally, Richard picked a rough side of the lake. As you can see out here right now, it's rough as a corn cob, and the idea was to test it in those conditions. Getting out in a big water boat in skinny water where everything's pristine isn't really a good on the water test. So right out of the gate, first impression that I can tell you that I'm impressed by, as a left-handed person living in a right-handed world, I do like the fact that there's handles on both sides. A lot of times when I'm casting with my left hand and reeling, it sucks to have to stop with boats that only have a rudder on the left-hand side. So I'm really impressed by that. I have used quite a bit of Jackson pedal drive kayaks in both the Big Rig FD and in the Blue Sky. And in both situations, the boat that I had, the rudder, in both situations, the boat that I had, the pedal drive started to grind, kind of make some noise, you know, pretty early on, you know, a couple weeks into my usage of that boat. And I can tell you right now, this pedal drive is already, you know, substantially smoother, both forward and backwards. It's also got really good heel clearance. I think my hip to angle height is really good. It could be a little higher. I'm also long-legged and short torsoed, so I'm always going to kind of lean more towards the seat being higher, and I also like high seats. I am a fan of this horizontal rod storage, especially for fishing around bridges, culverts, things that you got to go through, overhanging trees, brush, you know, things like that. And so I'm a fan of that. I don't have a full outfitting here just because I didn't have the time to do that. Richard's got to get on the water, and he was already kind enough to, you know, let me use the boat. So I did bring, you know, a rod with me so I could just kind of test out. And this is a longer rod. This is a 7.4 out of my arsenal, so I could just test it out how easily it drops into that system. Nice and clean, still out of the way for your pedal arc. Again, love the fact that he's got the double header on here. That's huge. And as a gear track or a track mounted accessory fanatic, and as one of the guys that pioneered that entire concept, I'm really excited to see this much track and the triple sided effect where you can side mount it, inside mount it, and top mount it with all of your Yak Attack accessories. And like he said, wiring fittings, you know, is really cool. So I'm just gonna now cover some water. I gotta be honest with you guys, like the rudder responsiveness out of it, actually let's just do it, okay? So I'm straight now paddling, and just pick a point on the horizon behind me, or if you're looking forward ahead of me, I'm gonna go full left rudder. That pretty much turned a 360 and a little bit more than the length of the boat. And then the same thing when you're paddling backwards, it's got, you know, rudder authority in both directions, so that's pretty cool. Man, I love the layout. I'm interested in learning more about how it will perform with a bow mount and a stern mounted trolling motor. I like the volume forward of the angler, but still having plenty, you know, behind the angler. You know, I probably don't need to stand up to demonstrate stability because this thing is a monster, but I'm going to anyway because it's just super stable. And you know, it's gonna look unstable anytime you're in rough water and you're rocking back and forth, but I have no problem standing in this boat all day long. I would stand and fish out here in these conditions. I just like how clean everything is. This deck, having the ability to put both the pedal drive in it and still use foot controlled steering is a big deal. And I do like the side mount option for using the Select, like Richard alluded to, with the 90-degree mounts from Yak Attack. That would be a really cool, easy solution, you know, for putting those 90-degree brackets on the inside. And the cool thing about the Select Designs rudder system is it actually just slides right out of the track. So if you wanted to take it out of there, you could take it out and stow it along the side, or you could take it out and just untie it and just not use it on the boat and even have it in the way. And the actual housing for the steering mechanism is very low profile, so it would be completely out of your way. Now, I'm casting just for the sake of casting, not really trying to catch a fish, so you know, don't be beating me up for my fish catching skills right now. This is more just an on the water initial impressions. I will try to get one of these boats down the road to do a power test, a paddling test, a propulsion test, where I can take the time to thoroughly do it, and then also, you know, kind of review the Jackson team's rigging and outfitting ideas, come up with some of my own, and then bring you guys a comprehensive, you know, video when it's all said and done. So my initial impressions are speed and performance. It's probably a 4 out of 5, but I don't think I've given or will give any boat a 5. It might even be a little over a 4, like maybe a 4.2. This thing cruises and it gets going quick, like really quick. And when you stop pedaling, it keeps a pretty good glide. Now, I've got the rudder handle turn, so it's turning with me, but if you don't have the rudder handle turn, it actually tracks, you know, really well also. I love the open access to both the internal mount for the bow mount and for your top mounted rudder, steering on the top of the back, so that if you do have a problem, you got the tensioners, you got the steering mechanism, everything is clean. This is one of the better applications of the triple rod holder. It just seems to be a little bit more out of the way. And again, I just love the three-sided tracks. It's really four-sided because the bottom, but you can't use it. So you can mount it on the outside, the inside, or the top, which is just going to give you more usable track space. You put the HD mount on the side, you can put a 90-degree fitting on there. You might even get more stability out of like your camera mounts and things like that. But big takeaways for me: stability is huge. It's really comparable in weight, if not lighter, than other boats in the same size and class. It's really stable. It's fast for the speed that it is. Let me go ahead and give you guys an initial review for paddling. Obviously this this sidearm is going to be in the way, and he's got that pretty tight, but no, it actually paddles decent. You know, for a big boat, it paddles decent. It actually, as you see there, it maneuvers and responds really well. And then once I stop, it sticks pretty dang on good. I love that little battery area in the front, so that if you do have a stern mounted motor and you want to move your battery weight to the front, or if you have a bow mount and you want to just move it a little bit further back than having it all in the nose, that's very nice. Traction pads, as always, are really nice on Jackson kayaks. The tank well is huge. It's got plenty of room for the black pack in both directions. You can configure and reconfigure it. I do love this little tackle box that Jackson came up with. So guys, overall, let me run through my initial impressions for what I call the scrape concept. Before you scrape your money to buy the boat: stability, it's a 4.5. I mean, this thing is literally a dock, okay? Comfort, it's up there with any boat that I've ever been in, and because of the you know, the better seat height to hip angle, or ankle bone to hip bone angle downward, and the smoothness of the pedals, I would say that the comfort factor is actually a 4. You know, approaching higher than 4, but I'd have to put more time on the water before I just preemptively said that. But again, this is the initial impressions, and I'm going to give that a 4. Riggability and reliability. I'm going to hold off on reliability because it is a new platform, but from a riggability standpoint, this tri-track, I think that's the name, but the triple mounted surface, the access, the stuff that's already here, plus what the platform allows you to do, guys, I'm gonna put it up there 4.7, 4.8, probably the highest that I've done yet on a fishing kayak for riggability. Again, I'm gonna defer reliability till I've got the chance to really put it on the water. Affordability, okay, the A, I think it's right there at the right price, comparable to everything else in the market. I know $4,100 sounds like a lot to a lot of people, but when you compare it to other boats in the same size, weight capacity, width, pedal drive, and the feature set that it comes with, it's right where it needs to be. You know, so I'm going to call it a 4 in affordability. We all want them to be cheaper, but there's a lot of engineering that goes into these things, a lot of molds that have to be built, a lot of little piece parts, things that you guys don't necessarily see. You think it's just a hunk of plastic, but there's a lot of engineering, there's a lot of labor, assembly, transport, there's a lot of stuff that goes into the cost. So I'm going to put this thing right there with everything else at a 4 in affordability. I don't really think I have come across a truly overpriced fishing kayak on the market yet. If I do, you guys will be the first to hear about it. Performance, okay, so again, at least from a pedal standpoint, it's right there. From a paddle standpoint, again, I didn't have a chance to truly paddle it, but it paddles as good, if not better, than any big boat that I've paddled yet. So because it's primarily designed to be pedaled, and it's one of the faster, especially to get up to speed, and more responsive boats. Again, when you're measuring a pedal drive boat, you have to measure the performance of the rudder, you have to measure the performance of everything involved. So, you know, I gotta go 4.8 on performance, because again, it's the fastest pedal drive I think I've pedaled yet. The rudder responsiveness and you know, it looks as though the rudder reliability is going to be up there, and the ease of working on it is going to be up there. Yeah, I'm going to throw the performance up there to 4.8, and then the everything else. Everything else is storage, transport, you know, those kind of things. It's going to be just like any other big boat that I consider you have to trailer it. You could car top this thing, you could throw it in the back of your truck, but from a everything else standpoint, it's big, it's wide, it's heavy. All the boats in this category, when you take into account the everything else, are you going to have to buy extra stuff? Are you going to have to do extra things to own it? Is it going to be difficult to store? Is it going to be more difficult to transport? Nothing's really going to get over that 3.5 in that category for me, if you have to consider everything else in this category. All the big boats, the wide boats, the pedal drive boats, the power, you know, motor driven boats that are primarily designed to do that are going to stay around that 3.5. So that's kind of my initial overview, but this is by far the highest in 2 categories that I've rated a boat yet. I honestly can't wait to get my hands on one of these things so that I can do a more thorough review, full day of fishing, and then my final suggestions for outfitting and rigging. We'll throw a bow mount on it, we'll throw a stern mount on it, we'll throw both on it. So yeah, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Y'all leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about this kayak. If there's any questions that you have that I didn't answer, I will either answer them in the comment section, or I will answer them in an upcoming video when I can get my hands on this boat for a more thorough multi-day, full day on the water, rig it how I want to rig it, fish from it, catch fish, land fish, you know, all the things that go into a true final assessment. So guys, that's it. Hope you guys like this video. Smash that thumbs up if you haven't done so yet. Leave a comment below, good, bad, indifferent. Tell me what you think, and I will see you guys in the next video.